Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth, and just last week we reported on the Strathroy bomber and the alleged foil terror plot, and we have some new developments in this case. Aaron Driver was turning his life around and seemed happy, says his older brother. It had been a difficult few years, but Aaron Driver seemed like he was doing better and was putting his peace bond and online activities behind him, his older brother said. He just wanted to put that behind him and wanted to move on with his life, Rob Driver said. He seemed happy, actually. He seemed happier than he'd had been in the past, like things were moving in the right direction for him. Well, that all obviously quickly ended when he was killed just outside of his home in Strathroy by the police after he allegedly detonated an explosive device in the backseat of a taxi. And now we have the taxi driver who picked up Aaron Driver, who's now suing the RCMP. And although he's physically able to return to work after having this bomb go off in his taxi, the driver, Terry Duffield, says that he's now suffering panic attacks that make him sweat and shake and vomit. There will be legal action taken on this, he said. They put my life in jeopardy. And Duffield said that he has driven Driver before. There was apparently nothing odd about that day in his mind, because Driver often took a cab to his job as a machinist. There was absolutely nothing unusual about the call, Duffield said. We had driven this gentleman on previous occasions to work. He was a very quiet person. But as Duffield started to back out, he heard someone yell, "Stop!" and then police officers swarmed the cab. And then an explosion went off. I had no clue at first, Duffield recalls. I actually thought that the cops had shot something through my back window, like tear gas or something, to try to get the guy out of my car. And then he heard gunfire. Duffield said he screamed repeatedly, "I'm only the driver, I'm only the driver." So police ordered him out of his car, and he went face first into the gravel, spread eagle, no breathing, not moving. I didn't want to get shot by a cop. So a scary moment for him, and unfortunately, this is really becoming more common now than ever. Victims are often afraid that the cops are going to shoot them and kill them. And this is increasingly common now since cops lack the accountability that other professions do. A doctor that kills people every time he performs surgery is going to eventually lose his license. A police officer, on the other hand, is more likely to just get suspended with pay. Now, Duffield says he's retained a lawyer and he plans to pursue legal action. I don't think police handled it very well at all, he said. They did absolutely nothing to help me. At no time did they try to warn me. At no time did they try to stop my vehicle from entering the address. This gentleman was allowed to walk in front of my car, down the side of my car, get into my car, and all of these sharpshooters, all these SWAT teams, and all these people who were supposed to be around, nobody did anything until after the bomb went off. Yeah, well, that's because having a bomb go off is good for propaganda. And if Duffield had died, well, then the corporate state media could have claimed a Canadian victim of terrorism, this time a civilian rather than military personnel. Of course, the real question here is, how did the FBI know about this imminent threat, and how did they know that it was going to be Aaron Driver? And of course, Duffield's question is very valid as well. If SWAT teams were standing by, why didn't they make Driver stop before he got into this cab? Folks, these are questions you're not going to be hearing from the mainstream media because they just continue to toe the party line. But we here at Press for Truth are not afraid to uncover the truth of the matter. And we can only do it because of your support. So by becoming a member of Press for Truth, or by donating, or by signing up to Patreon, where you can pledge a monthly amount. Most people don't even think twice about giving money over to Rogers or Bell every single month, and they're the mainstream prostitutes that just spew extremely biased propaganda on a daily basis. But with your help, we can continue to counter that propaganda and hit the people with some much-needed truth. So I hope you'll join me. Subscribe, stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.
The accusations are very serious. What evidence there is to support that remains to be seen.
He was monitored for the last year. Was there any contact during that time, or were there any specious informants who infiltrated the group?
Once again, I have no comment on the evidence.
Can you tell us why the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are involved?
I can't comment on that, and frankly, I don't know.